Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me once again on this Reverse Recruitment 0% Growth LTC. We have a particularly vicious map on our hands today, so I decided I needed to match that energy.
Well, I don't know if I can match the energy, but my name is ViciousSal, so that might be enough.
I think it will. I think people will like that.
Well, great. Glad to be back. It's been a while, but you seem to have a big map on your hands, so I'm glad to offer my assistance.
Yep, you bet. Believe it or not, we have another route map on our hands. This is 4-4, and the overall enemy quality at this point in the game on 0% growths is very high compared to the majority of our units. We have Nailah, very importantly, and she is equipped with the skills Pass and Celerity, which makes her just move all across the map and everything in between. So
yeah, she'll make ample use of that.
Yeah, you can imagine how we'll be relying on her very heavily in a map where the enemy quality is this high. Also, Leanne can fly. This is, like, it's hard to truly appreciate how big a deal this is compared to vanilla, where Raphael needs, like, a lot of support to get to where he needs to go. Leanne can just move there, like, over ledges, which is a really nice feature of Reverse Recruitment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that she's able to fly and have best of both worlds. It's also important to note that Nailah just killed a general. She could one round, and it's a shame that Leanne has to be in that square. Otherwise, she could have chucked a Pure Water and attacked on enemy phase. However, that general might be able to catch her, catch Leanne, that is, if he doesn't die this turn.
Correct. And what the Pure Water would help with is there's a rather annoying enemy with a sleep staff, but we'll save our explanation for that as we talk about Mist here, who is blocking for Sonicy. This Halberdier has only 23 speed, cannot double Mist, so she actually gets to play a defensive role, which is like the second time that's happened, the other one being like 3-9, I think.
Very quickly, Tanith did have a chance of death there, but it was minor.
Yeah, displayed 16% hit, very, very low. And here's that sleep staff dude. The math on this works out to be a 45% hit rate, which I believe is a 1 RN hit rate in Radiant Dawn.
I believe so too.
Yeah, so it's turn 1. You know, it's the best turn to make those kinds of risks. And now that Tanith has dodged both crossbow hits from up the ledge, she is free to eliminate a whole bunch of enemies in that area.
Going back to Mist, here she is. She actually could survive even if she had slightly lower HP, or maybe on hard mode where the Halberdier could maybe have one more point of speed and maybe roll up on speed as well. If she equips the Unlock Staff that actually was obtained by Tanith in one endgame, I believe,
Yep.
then she would have gained 1 more defense and 3 more speed. She could have also used the Rescue Staff or the Hermern, but those have already been in use in 4-2, so those don't actually have a use in this map, or rather they can't be in both places at the same time.
Right, if only. Sadly, the convoy warps aren't that strong.
No, there's also the Ward Staff, which gives 2 defense, 2 speed. However, that one is obtained later, I believe.
Yeah, you can't grab that until, I think, right before the tower, which is unfortunate because that'd be a really useful staff to have in a lot of places. Speaking of useful, double S Strike Rank. At long last, Nailah has achieved her final form, which means she actually has the same power as vanilla Nailah. Took a while, but we got there.
Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. You can see how she's tearing through enemies on this map. She'll do that a lot more. And it's actually quite cool. This is actually also one of the questions that was asked on one of the previous videos. But she actually has the same availability if you look at chapters. Instead of 1-8 and 1 endgame, she has 3-11 and 3 endgame. However, those latter 2 maps are a lot larger, so her contributions are way bigger in those maps. Tanith also normally has options. She can go to any part in part 4, so she can go into any of the 3 routes. Nailah, of course, is normally locked. However, it was still optimal to put her in the Grail army. So here she is.
Yeah, doing a lot of work. We did see Khalil engage in some combat here. We have the Rexflame tome for her. It was obtained in a base conversation in a previous chapter in Part 4, and it, in addition to being like a very strong fire spell, it boosts speed by 3, which is crucial for letting Khalil double enemies. There were some warriors and then the one general. And so within Ike's support, she was able to one-round 3 dudes, and we don't have to visit that entire bottom right section of the map, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, here we will see, well, Skrymir, who's apparently slightly faulty. My calculations weren't entirely correct, or it was the game, again, being slightly optimistic with its stat distribution.
Yeah, to be specific on that, I think if you follow the growth rates and do the math on that, Skrymir is supposed to have 17 strength instead of 15, and then 12 strength, or sorry, gosh, 12 speed instead of 11, and then also, you know, an extra point of res, which hardly matters, but not a huge deal. It's functionally the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Nailah is pretty dead even on what he should have had, maybe 1 point of skill here and there. And Sanaki, due to being weird in a class, normally being tier 3 but having only 3 strength and like 24 HP or something like that, leveling her down would have been very weird, so I had to do some funky stuff with that, and I can't really recall how I solved that problem, but otherwise she would have had like 11 or maybe 19 max HP and 0 strength. Yeah, she would have been horrible.
So I did the math on that. If you level her all the way down to like Tormod's level, as Nailah goes, as we say, deep in the paint to kill that sniper, she would have had 14 base HP, 0 strength, and 1 defense. So, not the most usable of units.
No, I think this is a better use of her.
Right. I would like to talk about what Ike just did there, because he was 4 short of killing that sniper after Khalil weakened him with the Blizzard Tome. You could make up 4 points of damage if you attack from within Khalil's support range and are able to equip the Vegkadi. Ike is a little short of SS swords right now, so use the Ragnall, and the plan would have been to finish him off with Khalil and then Meteor the Halberdier with Sanaki, but since Ike got all the Ether proc, I decided to just hit the Halberdier with the more reliable spell from Khalil, and Sanaki will just do nothing this turn to demonstrate the, even out the action economy.
Yeah, it's actually cool that slight optimizations may even create more reliability chapters in advance. Like if you did more with Ike in 4-1, it's just always cool to see those things come back.
Yeah, and again, this is a first attempt, kind of. Like, obviously I've played the maps a whole lot, but like, this is the first full run of reverse recruitment LTC, and so there are bound to be optimizations all over the place. Just kind of how it's going to be, and so, like, I'm never going to pretend that I've solved everything, because I'm not, and I actually specifically want other people to solve those things, because I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, because there's not really a competitive edge in it, it's more a team-spirited effort.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, Ike pretty much always gets hit by that sleep staff. I'm sure anyone who's played Radiant Dawn and played this map has suffered from Ike's tendency to fall asleep here. There was actually something that you mentioned, Flashing Fire.
Yeah, I had a question about Har. Okay, so Har got put to sleep every time anyone could target him in 4-3. I know his res is low, but do you know of anything in the game code that like makes enemies prefer Har just because he's Har and he's tired?
Well, I really do hope that that is something in the game's code. I haven't checked, I don't know for certain, but it would be an amazing Easter egg and attention to detail if the developers actually put that in.
Yeah, I'd love that. Let's see, I'll briefly mention what Nailah is doing. So he actually has the stats to 2-round enemies because he can double them and 4-hit KO them on the right side there, which is nice. His stats are such that he needs to dodge several times in order to survive. But the other thing that's really nice about him is that he is a Leguse Royal and therefore does not have to worry about his Leguse gauge running out.
Yeah, if you would have had Vika instead of him, that would have been way harder to do.
Or any Lagoose that has to worry about gauge. Tanith is fine right now, as Mist will heal up her brother, or give him a nice bonk with the Restore Staff to wake him up. Over the course of Tanith's combat with that Sniper and the Warrior all the way back on turn 1, she needs to dodge at least one of them to live, because she can live either hit, and in this case she dodged both, which is always convenient, but, you know, it's 0% growths, you're going to risk things.
Exactly. Here we're going to see a General not even go below 1/3 HP or something like that, even with the combined efforts of Skrimir, Downfed, Gareth, Gatrie, and Shinon.
It's a struggle bus down there. They're doing their best. Or rather, they're doing their best with what I gave them. What I should have given Gatrie was a forged hand axe, because not only for the might, but for the extra hit that I could have provided. There are several attacks where he makes with that hand axe. There's one coming up here, where you can see, like, he's got good accuracy, but not, like, reliable in the LTC sense accuracy. So, you know, paying a little more attention to the forging spree I did in 4-2, this is another optimization that I could have made to that.
Take note, LTCers.
Gosh, and here immediately, like, we see the jump in difficulty in terms of enemy stats. That guy, like, kind of barely went down to a 25×2 after Nailah achieved her maximum strike rank, whereas she one-routed a general earlier in the map on turn 1.
Yeah, difference between Lance and Axe Generals.
And the enemy levels.
Yeah, and almost ripped a Brave Sword. 3 uses left.
Yeah, the Forged Silver is not quite enough to one-round that Sniper, so we get to use that Brave Sword once again. Speaking of tough generals, Khalil is one short, shout out to Hughes, of one-rounding this guy with Rexflame, so we need to rig a Fire Proc. Just kind of the name of the game sometimes.
She is on good bio, though.
She is. That is very good observation. I actually forgot about that. So once that is done with, Ike can one-round that final Sage and finally achieve his maximum sword rank. So you can see that we weren't far off of the Vague a turn or two ago. And like Sal mentioned, that could be optimized just a little bit.
Yeah, there may also just have been an arm scroll if you couldn't optimize it further. Small things, but there are multiple ways to get him to SS rank, even in time for that one enemy.
Did you just
also,
say?
There's a.
Did you just say SS rank? Is it not just me?
Yeah, I did say that.
I do that all the time somehow. Like, strike rank just merges in my brain and in my mouth.
Well, this was sword rank, so it would have been rank.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah, by the way, that was my Inferno, and this is actually really cool. Leanne is going straight into enemy territory, because there's a really cool interaction coming up.
Mm-hmm. She'll be fine, don't worry.
Yeah, it's a really cool that you actually found a place for her to stand there.
Yes, this does require killing that Swordmaster, so we make sure to rig the hit from Sonicky, and then Ike finishes the guy off.
Yeah, should have used the Vague Gatti for extra hit.
Mm-hmm. And our reward is a Tempest Blade, which we'll see use later in the run.
Yes, and this is where Panda Bunny's question is very important. Does Stillness make him much more valuable to the Grail army? And yes, here Volk is once again a portable Shine Barrier that's going to protect Mist from a Halberdier.
Yep, this will allow Nailah to defeat the Halberdier on enemy phase and do something rather important next turn.
Yeah, so Heather wouldn't have been able to replicate this.
Yeah, the gold we lose from potentially like Volk opening chests is minuscule. Here he is. So, if you've played this game before, you know that it is quite hilarious how Oliver just recruits himself if you put Raphael within range. And in this case, we get to use that to our advantage such that Taraneo moves, grays out, and then is attacked by an enemy and still gets to act on this enemy phase, which is hilarious.
Yes, how's that for optimization? I mean, you're even using enemy units to kill enemy units on enemy phase. I mean,
great.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, this is a fun map in a lot of ways, and that is certainly a moment that contributes to it. This moment does not, because Danvid missed. It's okay. We can deal with that. But, you know, Shinon has good accuracy, Skirmir has good accuracy, but the rest of these guys are a little shaky.
And once again, we'll have effectiveness against doors.
Yeah. Fortunately, you do not need accuracy to break a door. So I'm noticing there's a little bit of artistic flair in this room. Is there anything you have to say about that, Sal?
Yes, actually there is. I don't know if it's going to be out by the time this video airs, but I'll have a quick video on all the paintings in Oliver's mansion. And we're going to take a look at where they came from, because there's a few that are there's one that's even unused, and there's a few that are fun Easter eggs, and some are complete mysteries to me. So if you want to check that out, you can go to my channel. So, by the way, sorry for the quick plug.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, that's something I'm actually going to look into. I hope to have it out by the time the video airs. It's been bugging me for years, because those paintings, man. Now that I have all these tools to edit Radiant Dawn, their mysteries are going to open themselves before my very eyes.
He is intent. Yeah, look forward to that. I never really bothered to look into them too much, because they're decorative. They're low res enough that it's a little hard to tell what they are supposed to be. But if you give this man an inch, he'll take a mile. So look forward to that, I guess. Real briefly, Taraneo is here and among us, and he has stats which I did not show. Ike has a res stat which we need to improve briefly with the Pure Water. He's going to do some combat against mages soon, as Sonic Key opens the doors. But Taraneo, I forgot to show his stats. Like, that's just a slight mistake in the recording element of things. The important things to show or to mention for now are the fact that he has 31 strength and actually, Sal, do you want to guess how much speed Taraneo has?
Ooh, I haven't seen your other videos yet, because during this recording they aren't out yet. However, I do know that there's some mentions from Nefany and Marcia that came to mind. Like, you were very explicit about them, so I'm going to assume he's part of the 29 Club.
He is part of the 29 Club. 29 speed Taraneo, which is just hilarious, because now it's Taraneo, Zehark, Fiona, Tanith, Marcia, and Nefany are all in the 29 Club, in some regard. Some of them before or after promotion, but, you know, it's just really funny to me how that all works out. It's a good speed tier, in fairness.
I have a question for you. Since there's a few staves that can alter your speed stat, as we've previously discussed, the Ward Staff, Unlock, the Rescue, and the Hamern. Since I believe Khalil has Rexflame, which gives her 27 plus 3 is 30 speed. So could you theoretically, could you get her to 29 speed with a staff, or maybe Peleus? Are there some other characters that can still get to the 29 Club with the assistance of some staves?
So, believe it or not, Khalil with Rexflame is actually already part of the 29 Club.
Oh,
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't even listen correctly if you mentioned her. I thought she had 27 and then went to 30.
No, Torment has 27 speed.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah. So that is funny. Wow, Khalil is kind of part of the 29 Club.
And also, Maelstrom, very valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that we're relying on. I'll show how we deal with that. Ike, you can see how he needs the Pure Water to survive both those mages. And something that we glossed over previously is that Ike took a hit from the sniper, even though the sniper could have attacked Nailah. That is a stationary sniper with a longbow. Ike has Provoke. So that is why the sniper went for Ike instead of the unit that cannot retaliate.
Okay, very, very good to know. Also, Nailah has been just charging around the map, going left and right. She's going to go up and down, probably, jumping all over the place, running parkours.
She makes nearly a full circuit.
And this general is being very generous with his placement.
Okay, so I need to talk about that reinforcement wave, because normally this sniper spawns in where the general is, and the warrior spawns in where Nailah is. That means that Nailah normally has no way of attacking that sniper on player phase, and thus cannot kill him on turn 5, because end phase doesn't work out. with Naisala's move, he blocks the enemies, and then on his way out, makes it so that the mage can only attack Nailah from one range. And so, with some creative Naisala movement and shoving, we get to like solve the problem of those 2 range enemies and let Nailah kill them both.
Yeah, the first time you showed me that, I was blown away. Like, that was some Galaxy Brain 5th grade, high tier, almost elitist, should I say, planning. Like, that was just the chef's kiss.
That probably is my favorite like sequence in the map here, because yeah, that felt satisfying to figure out and execute.
I mean, I can only imagine the dopamine.
So now we're on cleanup duty. We choose to eliminate the warrior instead of the halberdier there because Gatrie's hit rate is improved by weapon triangle against the halberdier. Here I'm noticing that I have not put Danved within range of the right chest, which contains a blizzard tome. He is still in range of the left chest, which contains a statue frag, which is a, I think, constitution stat boosting item. And at the time I was like, oh, I made a slight mistake, but it's not a huge deal. I'll just grab the statue frag and, you know, be done with it. It turns out that this is the correct play, and a quote-unquote mistake on this map helps me later. So it's kind of funny how that works out. I'll point out the map where, I mean, I'll show when I use the statue frag, obviously, but interesting how that kind of works out like that.
Yeah, accidental optimization is very cool.
Yeah, and you can see that I had to reset for Gatrie's axe throw there because, you know, again, forged hand axe would have alleviated that problem. And here is the statue fragment.
Well, we're nearly done with the map, but there's still some left to do, and these stationary generals, of course, are a problem.
Yep, the bishops, fun fact, in one of my recording attempts, Tanith missed a 98 there on that bishop, and I had to, like, reset, so that was funny. Doesn't happen this time, so we're grateful for that. But yeah, like you were saying, these generals, Nailah had to go off and do other things. So whereas she could just park herself in the middle of that set of generals, she's not here right now. Please try again later. And so we need our other units to mop up this crew.
Well, it seems like there's some bird abuse coming in again.
It's not abuse, they're helping. They're helping. And surprise, Leanne has been carrying a hammer this whole time. And now is an opportune time to give it to Tarneo. So, quick note on that. We could have actually given that to Tarneo on turn 4. I just didn't realize it at the time, because Khalil on turn 4 could have moved to attack one of the generals before Tarneo moved with his short spear attack on one of the bishops, and at that time could have given him the hammer. What that would have done is it would have let us kill the general in one round that is currently right above Tarneo, and therefore I wouldn't have to think as hard about this last move, because what I'm noticing here is that Tarneo dies in 2 hits to both these guys. And so while I would like to attack the sword guy to maximize his chances of hitting over multiple rounds of combat, what I end up doing is going for the kill on the axe general to eliminate the chance of death here.
To be fair, it was the most entertaining way to showcase the hammer at the very end.
Yep.
So for stall points, you'll get those, but for optimization, once again, yeah, just small things. Although in the end, he, spoiler alert, does get put in resolve range, which will improve his hit rates.
Oh no, a 3-second spoiler. Sal, how could you?
I know, right?
But yeah, with that, all that's left is for Nailah to clear out these last few enemies, and we end up finishing out 4-4 in just 5 turns, which I am quite proud of. Thanks, Sal, for hopping on and, you know, doing what you do.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks once again for having me. And, well, look forward to having a nice, fun video about those paintings.
Of course. All right, guys. Join me next time for a welcome change of pace. Take care, everyone.